Okay, so my last video where I was working on, was it my last video? No. Anyways, it was the one where I was doing this cover here. I had a few requests to finish up the journal with you guys, and I actually finished these before the requests started coming in. So I have a new cover here, and the inside is just completely bare. So I figured I will take you through doing the cover and possibly the pages of this one. So I apologize I didn't get the messages sooner. That video was more like a process of the cover type of video. But because I have this one here, I'm just going to go ahead and do it with this one. So I'm going to line it with the same paper that I used to line these ones. So I'm pretty much just going to try and do the same process that I did with these, just so you have a little idea of how I did it. And this is some fabric for a new journal that I'm working on. I'll put this here. What I use to line the inside of the journal is some avocado dyed paper, and let me get this out. Alright, it's kind of overcast today, so the color is all funky. This is actually a much brighter pink than it's coming off on the camera. So any paper obviously is going to work. If you want to do avocado dyed paper and you want to purchase some, I'm sure you could find lots of shops on Etsy that sell avocado dyed paper. I followed a tutorial by Gabriella at Penny and Rose Papery, so I'm sure many of you are already following her, but I will just leave her Instagram in my little description box so you guys can find her, the tutorial that she has on her Instagram. She also recently started a Patreon page, and I think she did a new avocado dyed paper tutorial, a new and improved version. So she probably has a link to her Patreon in her Instagram bio. So if you want to go check out her Patreon page, just follow the link in her bio. So I pretty much, I mostly do standards. I know the measurements of this thing. So I'm going to go to 8 1/4 here, but I'm going to drop it down a little bit because I want a little bit of the edge of my journal to show, like here. But what I do before I cut the paper is I line up this with where it's going to slice to make sure that my cut is going to be good. If it ends up a little bit too big, that's fine because we can go back and redo it. But if it ends up a little bit too short, then I like to start over with a new piece of paper. So I think this is going to be good. Well, let me see here. Yes, I like that. See, you can see the edge of my journal still showing. Sorry, my hands are so filthy. I was helping my daughter open her paint this morning. And then, I did that wrong. It's actually, that looks good. Okay, I'm gonna go here. Hold this in place and turn it this way so I can check again how my measurement looks. And I think I want it just a little bit shorter. And that looks good. It still might be a little bit too tall, but let me just see if I can work with it. I'm just going to take a little bit more off. Like that. Just a teensy bit. Okay. Okay, I'm going to add a pocket in here. And I think I want to use one of my vintage postcards and maybe give it a little bit of, I don't know, some sort of texture, sari ribbon, or something like that. So I'm not going to glue this on yet. Let me go get my postcard and ribbon. Okay, I also grabbed a couple wallpaper scraps to kind of give this a little bit more color. So I have some options right here, and I'll choose one momentarily. And here is my sari ribbon. If you hear weird sounds in the background, my kids are, they have their device time right now, and they like to listen to their stuff full blast. I'm gonna go shut the door. Okay, so let me just trim this here. And what I want to do with this is, let me see, put this here. I think I want to make a bow. I might need a bigger piece of ribbon, actually, I'm thinking about it. But I'm going to punch 2 holes up here with my crocodile. Yeah, I need a bigger piece of ribbon. This. Okay. I'm going to feed this through both holes from the back. And I'm just going to tie this into a bow. I think it's going to be really, really cute. Actually, my no-sew texture video that I just uploaded is inspiring this. It was like, this is really good for people who don't use a sewing machine. And then I was thinking like, no, this is good for everybody. So that's cute like that. And this is going to be a pocket. I don't know if I'm going to have a side tuck yet or if it's going to be like this. These are kind of thin, so I think I'm probably going to go with a side tuck over here so bigger things can get put in. Okay, now looking at my cover, I'm going to choose one of these that I feel might best. They're all kind of bright for the tone of this. I think this one will be best. Which way we want to do it. Let me see. This is like a vinyl too, so I'm gonna try and tear it, and hopefully I don't hate the result because it's, you know, vinyl. It's like a plasticky wallpaper. I like that. Let me try. Let me see. What's that gonna give us? Okay, here we go. Oh, it's good. It's totally fine. It's totally fine. Let me see. Yeah, it's cute. And then one more thing with this, I think I'm gonna get some washi tape for this edge right here to help it feel more seamless. Okay, I picked out some Tim Holtz, Tim Holtz washi. I'm gonna glue this down. People always ask me about my glue, and I swear by this. Fabric Fuse. It's super strong. You don't need to use a lot. The one downside is it comes in a tiny bottle. What, sweetie?
You're right. I know this says happy birthday.
Sure. So this has like a consistency of school glue, but I think it has less water or something. I'm not sure. And one of the reasons I really like it is because it doesn't cause warping or ripples in your paper. So yeah, Fabric Fuse. I get this on Amazon. I usually buy a couple bottles at a time because they're so small. Okay. I'm gonna use, let me see, I'm gonna actually secure this with a little bit of tape also. I mean glue, sorry. Just like here. And then I'm gonna put this at an angle. Get a nice little bit of it. And whoop, not like that. Let me see. Okay, didn't really make an angle, but that's okay. It's like here, and then fold, fold, fold. Okay, looking good so far. So because I'm having this as a side tuck over here, I'm not going to worry about stitching it to this until the paper is adhered to this, because then I could just stick them both down at the same time. For the lining, I'm going to use this glue again. And you don't need necessarily full coverage. The most important part to cover is where your crease is. so that way when you fold the journal, it doesn't start like bubbling up right there. If it does bubble up right there, it's totally fine because you can cover that up with something else. So back and forth, a couple nice squiggles. Make sure I get that middle part. And then I do a little bit over here, just not as much. Make sure that's good. Okay, okay. I also, when I'm gluing, I don't worry about the sides because it's going to get stitched down, and in my experience, that stitching is plenty to hold the paper where you want it. Pick a side, any side. I like this side. Line it up. Try and get it as straight as possible. A little bit of crooked is okay. All right, I'm gonna take this over to my sewing machine to put the pocket on, you know, and attach this, obviously. So I'm gonna do that and I'll be right back. One more thing, actually, before I stitch the lining on in the pocket, I do have buttons on here. When you're placing buttons, you have to be careful to kind of keep them away from the edge if you do your buttons before you run your cover through the sewing machine, because the foot of your machine could get caught on this. I think I left it enough space, but when I'm going through this part right here with my sewing machine, I'm just gonna go slow and be a little extra careful to make sure my buttons aren't getting caught up in the machine. Okay, one last tip. Usually, and I don't know how you guys do it, but whenever I start sewing my covers, you know, when I put the lining to the cover, I always start on this corner. I think it's just become habit now, but because this is a loose pocket over here, I want it to stay in place. I'm actually gonna start down here this time. So just a small little tip there. Okay, that has been attached. I'm gonna use my bone folder to go in. There are gonna be some bumps and wrinkles in this because of the avocado dye that I did. Uh-oh, okay, so look here, my ruffle popped up. So what I'm gonna do is try and hold this down and run it through the sewing machine again because my stitch caught the ruffle and the machine held it back. That happened here too. That one's an easy fix. Actually, this doesn't look too bad. What do you guys think? I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave that there for now and get back to my bone folder. So this paper is very thin. Usually I use a thicker paper to line with, but this works out just as well. And I specifically used the avocado dyed paper in my other journals because I wanted them to all be, you know, using the same materials. And I don't have, you know, 3 different of the same type of scrapbook paper. I hope what I am saying makes sense to you guys. Okay. Okay. So there we go. It is all lined up. Let's give it a little test. I really love to see every time I make a pocket. I just want to see how something looks inside of it. So I have this old invoice. Let's see. October 10th. This is from 1912. So pretty. I'm going to fold this in a way that keeps this really pretty, like, letterhead. Whatever you call this, it's called a letterhead. Anyways, I want it to be visible because it looks really cute. Somehow I can do it if I only try. Okay, I also have a blue letter. Let's see, is anything in here? There is April 21st, 1924. With all this stuff going on, if you guys have a bunch of vintage letters or antique at this point, I've been checking the dates on all of mine. I'm kind of curious to see if I have anything from like the flu pandemic. I think it'd be really interesting to find a piece of history that sort of reflects what we are going through right now. So, I don't know, might be interesting to find something like that, right? And that looks really cute. So next, I'm just gonna start selecting some pages. My journals usually have 40 or 60 pages. So if you want a 40-page journal, you want 10 pieces of paper. If you want a 60-page journal, you want 15 pieces of paper. I think for this one, for the video right now, I'm just gonna go ahead and try and find 10 pieces of paper really quick. I already have some veggie dyed papers right here at my desk, so I'm just gonna grab some of those. This is a really nice blue, and I got this by using red cabbage. You could pretty much follow the same steps for avocado dyeing and use a red cabbage. This was on white copy paper, and it turned my paper a very beautiful blue. And then there's also, I have this green, and this was originally, what color was it? It might have been yellow. I'm not sure, but I also used the red cabbage dye for this paper, and it just turned out so cool. It kind of reminds me of a cucumber. Cool like a cucumber. And I'm also gonna grab a couple avocado dye papers. So now I am already at 5 pages, and I'm gonna go run and grab some book pages and stuff like that. The nice blue typed letter here, and this is on some really thin paper. Let me find it. There it is. So that's really pretty. 1949. And I'm running low on these, but see this one. I really like using these old tall envelopes, like the longer ones. So I'm gonna use one of those. So now I'm at 7 pages. This has been a really fun book to pull from, the Vogue sewing book, and I like these because the pages are like kind of nice, like cream color, and then there's these like little pops of pink that I think are just like adorable. Look at this cowl neckline. I think I'm gonna use that one. Get it out nicely. So here we are at 8. What color like that? So now we got 9. Here is some handwritten sheet music, which puts me at 10. So I'm gonna start folding things in half. And I'm also gonna plan to have some built-in pockets, so I don't have to come back and, you know, add pockets with different papers. I think I mentioned this in another video before, but I use the cover as a guide for all my folds. So this will be a nice pocket right here. You just have to stitch the top and the bottom. It's a bone folder, and that's a perfect size. Let's see this guy. I'm not sure if I want to use this one for a pocket yet. The five like veggie dyed papers over here are all going to be pockets, and I don't want to get too like nuts with all the pockets. With these, so this is a wide one. Okay, let me see. With these, because the paper is so worn at the top, I love having them poking out the top of the journal. I think it just adds like some charm. It gives it a sort of like magical, you know, already been used feel to it. So I'm gonna leave some sticking out the top, and this bottom part, just make a mark down here so I know where to cut. And just with my scissors really quick. And let's see which side has less damage. Okay, so this side, you can see it's already damaged. I'm gonna use this side to have the thing open. And I'm kind of hoping I can get away with not trim. No, it's way too thick. I know. Let me see. If I had this and it stuck out a little bit. Like, that's okay, right? Because like with the same up here, I think I'm gonna leave this one like this. I've never done this before. I usually like my pages to be flush with the edge, or, you know, a little bit shorter, but with this one, I'm gonna leave it just like that. Okay, got our letters ready to go. So for these ones, I fold them in half, up and down, like this. And then I use my cover, open it up so that, you see here, it would create like a mountain, and use the cover as a guide. So this is lined up with this, and then the bottom of my fold lines up with that. And I do this specifically like a mountain because, well, let me show you. I find it easier to fold the paper back, and so I'll do it again with this one, and then I'll show you what I mean with the next one. Okay, it just folds so easily back in place, but if I did it this way, see, it's like a valley rather than a mountain. Put this here, and my page got a little wonky. You can see that there. So I'm just gonna unfold it, turn it over, and follow my same fold line there that I have. Fold it back in place, and my page is just like a lot neater. So I do not know if that is helpful information for you guys, but it is yours now. And last one, like here and here. Okay, now I'm going to arrange my pages. This looks so good already. I like the colors. I'm going to put this right here. Maybe I want to do it this way. What if I had it like this? And then this could be a pocket over here, kind of like that. And I'll leave this guy here where it is. And like I've said before, I really love pink and like a patina vintage paper. So there we go. Oh, and I have this still. Let me see. I think I'm gonna go ahead and trim it. So I'm gonna go right here. And let's see. Do this side because it's so cute. Right there. Let's put some blue in. Okay, and let's see what comes next. How about this green letter? Let's see which way I want it to go. I should probably go like this. I'm gonna go another pink. And decide which one I want to be in the middle. I'm just gonna keep going with this for now. How tall is this? I like that. I think this will be a good center page. So green, blue, and then I'm gonna fold this one back the other way so that my little pocket is on the inside. Or should we do it like this? Second-hand rose. Oh, that's cute. I didn't even notice that. I just grabbed it. All right, let me make sure I counted right. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes, I have 10. So the next step is going to be sewing all the pockets one by one, and I'm going to keep it simple, and I am just going to sew the pockets. I don't know, maybe not. I feel like this video is getting kind of long for my phone and my Wi-Fi to handle. I think I'm actually going to split this video up into a couple different ones, so I'm going to stop for now. But before I do, let me just show you. This is some, where is it? I have it. Oh, it's right here. So this is some hand-painted ruffle fabric that I got from Rose Hill Paper. And I have talked about her shop before on this page, but I definitely recommend you go check out what she's got because she's got some good stuff. So that's some of that up there. I have a mother of pearl button, and this is actually upside down. The other side was like, you know, a pearly color, but I wanted the dark to show. And then I have these two buttons. Don't recall where I got them. I got this fabric here from Amy. She is Floshy May Cottage. And I didn't even talk about this. Look how cute. It's a stamp. It's a case stamp, like a tax stamp, I think, for beer. And let me tell you my idea. I'm really excited about this. So I'm going to have these like kind of cute, like sort of like feminine journals with something like this on each one. So I have a beer one. And then I'm going to use, let me see, I have this one for malt liquor. And I have, let's see, what else? Some distilled spirits. And this one for cigarettes. And this one for wine. So I think this collection is going to have 3 journals in it, and these ones are all going to be on the same cover of one journal. This one will be a journal cover, and this one will be a journal cover. So I thought that was kind of a cute idea. I really love mashing things together that don't really go. And I'm not saying feminine girls don't drink beer, but, you know, just the idea of beer isn't like, you know, when you think of beer, you're not just like, oh, pink and girly and getting your nails done. So that's what I'm doing here. This is some fabric from Tilda, her, I would keep saying her, their Old World collection, some boho tree fabrics. This is a vintage fabric right here that, is going to be, used to make another journal cover for this collection. And then this is from a bit of vintage quilt, and I love this tiny, tiny detail of the black line right there. And this is just some cream colored sari ribbon. And it's on this, you know, the base fabric I used is a really nice like floral sheet. So, geez, I feel like I just talked so much. I need to go drink some coffee. Okay, have a good day, guys, and I'll be back maybe tomorrow to do the cover words. I'll be back tomorrow to do the pockets. Yay!